Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to this subbet on the 15th of July 2024, which also is the 9th of Muharram in the Arabic Muslim calendar. Now, tomorrow will be the 10th of Muharram. And many people ask, what is the significance of the 10th of Muharram? And it holds different significance for Sunnis and Shias, but there's also some overlap as well. Initially, the 10th of Muharram is remembered by Sunnis as being when the Prophet Musa alayhi salam's people used to fast. So for this reason, it is special for many Sunnis, and many Sunnis will actually fast this day because they are remembering a day when the people of Israel used to fast in the time of the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. But there is also another reason why both Sunnis and Shias remember the 10th of Muharram. And this is because of something that is from our history as Muslims. This is, of course, the day when the terrible tragedy of Karbala happened. And so Sunnis and Shias remember the tremendous sacrifice of Imam Husayn. Imam Husayn and his family and a small band of followers. They were not a huge army. Some people call it the Battle of Karbala. But they were not a huge army. They were a small group of people who were following Imam Husayn. And Imam Husayn was taking action because there was a number of things which concerned him about the way the society was being run in his time. And so he felt the need that he needed to do something. And he was also in correspondence with some other communities in the area, some of the Muslim communities who'd they'd come to Islam as well. And so they wanted to appoint him as the caliph. And of course, he had a claim to the caliphate as well. But I think also Imam Hussein must have known that he only had a small band of followers. And realistically, the chances of being appointed the caliph may not necessarily be there. And certainly, as he went on that journey, then things really were against that group. And then the armies of the armies came against them. And they were sent by the caliph at the time. So it's like, imagine that. Imagine you are the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, and you have the armies of the caliphate coming against you. How would you really think about that? Or how would you really how would you yourself deal with that kind of situation? And there was a person there who was calling himself the caliph. And yet there was a number of things that he was doing which were concerning, and which is why Imam Hussein felt the need that he had to do something to call people back to the ways of his great-grandfather, the Prophet ﷺ. And his grandfather taught people to be compassionate, taught people to be kind, taught people to appreciate each other. And certainly not to turn violent against fellow Muslims. And this is exactly what happened. the armies of the Caliph Yazid at the time, they set out to kill Imam Hussein. And even if there's like political issues, political disputes, even if there are problems, is that the way to deal with them? And of course, in modern politics, we see something else. I mean, Donald Trump is no Imam Hussein, but he's standing in an election. And he was nearly killed the other day, just because people don't want to deal with things in a peaceful way. And I hope he's granted a swift recovery, because no matter whether you agree or disagree with the man's politics, he didn't deserve that. But imagine, I mean, that's just a modern politician. But this was the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, the grandson. And this army set out to kill him under the orders of the Caliph. How far must Yazid have strayed from the teachings of Islam that he wanted to kill the Prophet's grandson? A man who also had a right to be the Caliph. And some Muslims would argue had a lot more rights to be the Caliph than Yazid. But wherever people stand on that, one thing that we can all stand on is he did not deserve to be killed, and neither did his family. But they never backed down. They stood their ground. Even though they didn't have a huge army behind them, even though it resulted in their sacrifice. And I was talking during Ramadan about sacrifice. And again, I was talking during just before Eid al-Adha about sacrifice, and highlighting how real sacrifice is from ourselves. What are we prepared to give for ourselves? A lot of us say that we believe. We believe in Allah. We believe the Prophet Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah. We say we believe, but how many of us would be prepared to sacrifice ourselves for a greater good? That greater good could be saving other people's lives, could be for matters of principle. How many of us would be prepared to do that? And I don't mean like some of these crazy people going suicide bombing or things like that. I mean actually not trying to kill yourself because you love your life. You appreciate your life. You know your life is a gift from Allah and you are loving your life. But then when you're in that state of mind, how many people would be willing to put that life on the line in order to save other people's lives on a matter of principle? And Imam Hussein teaches us, reminds us that this is also part of Islam. This is also part of faith, part of belief, part of being a good human being. That you are willing, if needs be, to put your own life on the line in order to save other people's lives, in order to stand against oppression and persecution, and stand for the right principles. And there are people today who have that mindset. And whether they are Muslim or not, they are blessed. They are blessed because they are people who are standing up for the right things and are willing to even put their life on the line if it saves another person's life. If you look at people who work in the fire brigade, for instance, people who fight fires, who go into burning buildings, they risk their lives. Even with all of the modern equipment that they have, they risk their lives. They might not come out of there alive. Now, they have that spirit. Sometimes you hear about someone who is a very good police officer as well, who will go into a situation where they put their life on the line in order to protect someone else. This is what Imam Husayn is teaching us. And whether we are Sunni or Shia, we should remember that. And we should remember the sanctity of human life. And we should remember that we need to be humanitarian. You know, Imam Husayn and his family and that little group, they were not even given water. They were denied even a glass of water. This is basic humanitarian needs. This, if we go from the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, that even if you are at war with an enemy and you take prisoners, that you should give them food and water and treat them humanely. And they were not treated humanely. They were not given food and water. Imagine the suffering that they went through. And I've never been a follower of Shiism. I've never been a Shia. I'm actually Sunni. And I know some Sunnis may be surprised at the way I'm approaching this and the way I'm talking about this. But at the same time, even if you are surprised, why are you surprised? Imam Husayn is the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. He's not some stranger. He's not some random person. His family are of the line of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. Real Sayyids. Very early Sayyids within Islam. Many of them were scholars. And they are people that we still take from to this day, Sunni and Shia. Go and check the hadiths. And how many of them come from Ahlul Bayt? Without them, we wouldn't have Islam. And today there's two different denominations of Islam, Sunni and Shia. And because the Shia put a lot more emphasis on this and do a lot more processions and reenactments and things, that some people think that to remember Imam Husayn is a Shia thing. Well, we don't have to do things exactly the way our Shia brothers and sisters do them. But at the same time, to remember what happened that day, to reflect upon it, and to learn from it, because there are many lessons that can be learned. That's just Islam. That's not to be Sunni or to be Shia, that's just Islam. And I really recommend that we all take a lesson from this and remember the sacrifice that Imam Husayn made, and that if we can fast tomorrow, this is also recommended. If we can make extra salawat and do du'as for Imam Husayn and the family of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, who they did, a lot of them suffered really badly actually. And considering this is the family of our Prophet Sallallahu, without the Prophet Sallallahu, there would be no Islam for us today. And the same is true without the Ahlul Bayt and without the early scholars, the people that brought us Islam. There would be no Islam today. So we should remember and appreciate all of them. And remember the lessons that they teach us. And understand, as I was saying just before Eid al-Adha, the real meaning of sacrifice. And the sacrifice is something that comes from ourselves. And we don't throw away our lives away for any reason, no. But at the same time, we should stand up for those things which are right, which are true, and especially the safeguarding of human lives and standing against oppression, standing for those right things. And sometimes that does mean some people lose their life. We shouldn't be deliberately trying to lose our lives. But at the same time, we should respect that, appreciate that, and make sure that we've got our principles right and that we're standing up for the right things and do our best with the life which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. May Allah bless you all, and hopefully I will do a Friday reflections this week. I do apologize. I have been moving office and I've had a lot on. So if I'm doing a few less of these at the moment, then please forgive me. But there's quite a library of soft bets and Friday reflections that you can find on my YouTube and Instagram. And you're more than welcome to look at some of the others if they are of benefit. And also, I welcome your feedback. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, or there are things which I've said which you would like me to elaborate upon and expand, then I would appreciate that too. Feedback is really welcome and appreciated. I will leave that there now and then do my dhikr. I'm not going to be doing the dhikr in the videos anymore because I think having a shorter video, it's easier for you to watch. And the dhikr is more or less the same in every video anyway. And if people want to see how to do that, they can always look at the previous videos. So I will sign off there. I wish you all a very blessed week. Allah bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be with you all.